today, huh?
Yeah.
Cold night time.
Real warm.
We're having
It's
two,
supposed to be end of summer.
two seasons a day we're having now. Yeah. Weather come here.
So what's this place, Papa?
So the Aboriginal name for this here is Yari Minka
Yari Minka.
or Wadma Minka. Is Heglett Springs. Heglett Springs is one of the early explorers that had a worker. One of the workers was, and they named it Heglett after this guy that was here. But in the early years, when the railways were being constructed, Marie, well it was Heglett Springs they called them, Marie, this was the main water supply. It was so important, not only for the railways and the operation of the railways. It was so important for Aboriginal people because this was a place where Aboriginal people from the north, south, east and west came here for the water. It was so important, so important. And this was the lifeline to the town, to the Aboriginal people. I think it's the most southerly mound spring, I say mound spring, but a spring that we have in the area. It's dried now, dried up all a couple of years ago. Huh?
Yeah.
Because of so much usage of it and that. So
Yeah, well, water is life.
it is, yeah, it is. And so it's tragic that it should dry, and I think it was the lifeline of the early explorers. The settlement of the country, the outback and that, where people would come and that, travellers going through, whether it be Aboriginal travellers or early surveyors and that, explorers I should say. So yeah.
Provides life for all these ones.
Oh yes, yeah. And the animals,
here.
there's so many lifelines, you know, I mean with this for the animals and the migratory birds and that, you know, when they travel from overseas where maybe permanent water, it is always there. And it's a tragic loss really, because when you have no water, nothing will survive. Nothing.
That's right.
And you wouldn't have any of these vegetation that's around in there because there's no water.
Yeah, all these bush grasses and saltbush and samphire.
Yeah.
What was the name for this one again?
That's samphire.
Yeah, in Arabana?
Arabana we call that Nyinta ngaju, green plant. That one. Jalpa, that you can eat that one. It's called jalpa.
Yeah. And we had a name for this one too, the saltbush.
That's an old man saltbush. You know, we had again it'd be a nyinta. They call them nyinta.
Yeah.
Nyinta is a grass or a bush or anything like that, see? Or a tree. Then you got a tree. Yeah, nyinta. Nyinta,
What you got in that on the hand?
I got in the hand. I have here is a kangaroo head.
Oh, kungara.
Kangaroo head. Kungara kardabo. And the other one I got here is the leg, walpu.
Ah, the long leg.
Yeah, the walpu.
Yeah.
Walpu. And I just picked it up to show you. Kungara walpu, kungara kardabo. So the important thing with this one here is this is the most hardest bone that you can get, and this is what they use as tool to make the parry point on the spear and that. They break that and chip it so they have a sharp point, and then they trim the edges up. With that bone. That's a kangaroo leg, yeah? Kangaroo leg.
They use this one for anything or just for decoration?
Mm-hmm.
They use this one for anything or just decoration?
No. And again, like anything about a kangaroo is very, 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 very significant because that kangaroo actually represents ancestral beings. And so if you were out hunting with that, you actually got to kill it with respect. And there's a lot of, there's a part of a ritual thing. In the true traditional world, you couldn't just go into willy-nilly. By killing that, you might be killing someone's ancestor. The stories and that being created by the ancestors came with the travellers from the
It's that connection to the animals and the land and the water.
yes.
Yeah.
And they would have been here because of that water thing. When the water dry, we had a dry spill, and some of them would be bogged on, and that's why you've got skeletons like this one here.
Yeah, that's it.
Would have,
So we hope we have some more big rains then for this one.
well, it does, yeah, but the rain, that was rain the other day, but it's plugged away, it seeps way down into the basin anyhow.
Yeah.
So it's and you know, there's probably problems with that too, because that's dry, and it leaves a vacuum where the water used to be, and there could be any pollution seep back into the basin.